I was talking to some friends on Thursday night, and it was suggested that maybe I should go to church today and bear my testimony. And for those of you that understand the Mormon community, every first Sunday of the month they fast and then have an opportunity to bear their testimony. And it's been 4 years since I've been to it inside the Mormon church. But I couldn't quit thinking about that all night long. And I woke up the next morning and I wrote down what I would say if I were to go to church and bear my testimony. And I'd like to share that with you. I have a long Mormon heritage. 5th generation. My great-great-grandfather was first counselor to Joseph Smith, and he was also his doctor and delivered his children. He donated the ground that the Kirtland Temple was built on. They crossed the plains. And for 45 years, the LDS Church was my everything. In my DNA, in my blood, in my breath. And I grew up in San Jose, California. And as a teenager growing up in California, I was proud to be a peculiar people. I was proud to live in the world but not of the world. I was proud to be a Mormon. Fast forward 30 years, I find myself in that group of being a peculiar people. Only it's very different. Now I live in a Mormon community, and I can't for the life of me wrap my brain around what's happening. I have 2 gay children. You met Mandy. And Tyler is my oldest. You probably, I don't know, there's a poster running around here that says Marriage for All and has their picture on it. Whatever it is.
There's one.
Well, no, there's one that has, there it is, more. My son Tyler was married in June in San Francisco on the first day that they allowed. And I have to tell you that as Tyler and Mandy were growing up, they just didn't fit the mold of this tough little guy and this little Barbie doll carrying, girl. It was opposite. Mandy was a tough guy, and Ty was putting curlers and doll his hair, and you can't tell me that they were influenced by any evil temptation, or that they chose to be different than their peers. They just were. They didn't choose that any more than somebody that's born with Down syndrome chooses to have Down syndrome. They came from heaven with their little personalities. And as they grew and developed, again, it was clear that they were different. And as I watched them be shunned and rejected, discriminated against by their family members, by cousins, aunts, uncles, you can't tell me that anybody would choose that any more than I chose to be heterosexual. And as I watch the battle that's happening right now, especially in California, for people's basic civil rights, and as I witness the church that I once held as the ultimate light of truth get so aggressively involved, my heart has been ripped in two. My experience of God has always been of a loving God. And I have felt Him and experienced that many times in my life. When I drove away at 4 o'clock in the morning with my kids and shirt on our back, I felt his arms around us saying it's going to be okay. As I battled a brain tumor and wondered who would take care of my kids when I was gone, I felt his love and knew that it would be okay. When I found out my son was gay, and I wanted to, my knee-jerk reaction, because at the time I'm going through an ugly divorce, I'm dying of a brain tumor, and my son's gay. It's like, are you kidding me? Am I not going through enough? And my Linda felt like just shaking him and saying, what are you doing to me? We're dying here. We're in survival mode. I can't deal with this. Are you nuts? And instead, I felt my Heavenly Father put his arms around me and him, and the words came out of my mouth, it's okay, I love you, it's okay. And like Claudia, what a blessing these two have been in my life. To teach me about being a peculiar people. To teach me about love and acceptance. And I want to close by asking Steve to come up, and we're going to sing a song called Testify to Love.